everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Here we are, Easter holidays, and a class really just designed for release, for stretching, just a be good to yourself, a be kind to yourself class. So take it at your own pace. I've got various props, a roller, a longish towel, a flex band, a ball. You don't need to have them all. Use what you have. Maybe use some of them. Maybe if you haven't got some of the props and I'm offering repetitions, then just do what you can with what you have got. So if maybe I start doing a hamstring stretch with a flex band, if you just keep doing it with a towel or with your hands while I'm talking through with the flex band. So keep moving is effectively what I'm trying to say. So we're just going to begin standing, feet hip socket width apart, and I want you just to think about where the weight is on your feet. So you can move a little forwards, a little backwards, find that weight midway point between the front and the back of the foot. And I just want you to stand for a moment, and I want you to think about breath. You're not locking out through your knees at all, and you're going to try and fill the back and the base of your lungs, breathing into the sides of the rib cage as well. Just take that wide full inhale, and then feel as you exhale how your diaphragm is actually drawing up towards the heart. And as you inhale, your diaphragm is drawing down towards your pubic bone. So just be aware of the importance of the movement of the diaphragm as you're breathing in and out. The very action of breathing is going to help you to relax. It's going to help your muscles just to relax and give that little bit. So from there, we're going to take either a band or a towel. I'm going to pick up a band, and I'm just going to hold it. I'm going to wrap it around just because it's a little slippy. Hold it between both hands, and you're going to start by bringing the arms up, and just allow those arms to come as high as you can manage, and then let it come all the way back down again. So again, we're going to bring it up. Really feel that your collarbones remain open, your shoulder blades lovely, long and lengthened. And again, bringing it up. And this time we're going to hold it here. And we're going to take it up to come over. So just taking a lovely lateral stretch. Bringing that arm up all the way back up and over. So I want you to keep doing this. Okay, just in your own time, arm and bring it back up. Now I'm going to show you the option with a towel. So you can hold a towel. We began bringing it up. We took that stretch, keep breathing all the time, and then you can come up to come over. So the towel is a really useful little prop here if you haven't got a flex band. And bring it all the way down. So keep moving. This is just going to be the case because I'm not sure who has got what in terms of props, so you'll just have to bear with while I offer these options. So if you have got your band, you're going to take it up. This time you're going to bring it up and over. Bring that underside arm so that it's nicely horizontal, and take an even deeper stretch there. Slowly from there, let that arm on the top now become your underside arm. So we've now got a new top arm all the way up and over. And then bringing that underside arm to horizontal, take a deeper stretch, and then let it come all the way back up. And then we're going to take the band out to the side. Now if you haven't got a band, it doesn't matter. If you have, you're going to let that band open the front of the chest as we bring it all the way down. Palms are going to face forwards. You can do this without a band. I'm taking it back and pulling them out a little. We're bringing it up. Then I'm going to add a little lift of my heart, my chest, my eyes, and then bring it all the way back down to the start position. And again, bringing it up, taking it out a little. Now keep your tail heavy here. So try not to allow too much curvature to come into your low back. Taking it back, taking it out, lifting it up, all the way up and over and all the way back down. We'll just do one more. So this is really nice for the chest, to just open up the shoulders, getting some nice range in the shoulders, and up and over, lifting your eyes, lifting the heart, and bringing it all the way back down to pause. So you're now going to pop your band, your kit out of the way. Remember we did the video where we made a sort of makeshift roller? So you can either use your towels as a makeshift roller, or do you remember we used the mat, and we had the mat rolled up as a makeshift roller once again. So it's up to you. If you've got a roller, then please use your roller, but otherwise a rolled up mat, rolled up towels. And we're going to just pause for a moment while we position the roller at about the base of the shoulder blades. Clasp both hands together, pop them behind the middle skull, feet not too close to the bottom. And you're going to just slowly from there, checking that you feel quite comfortable. Roller, as I say, about the base, the middle of the shoulder blades. The further down the roller goes, the more challenging this becomes. And you're now going to level your spine out as though you were lying just on a beach, nice and flat. And then you're going to push your breastbone along an imaginary ceiling and wrap up and around the edge of the roller, the wrapped up towel, the wrapped up mat, whichever you're using. A little bit of length at the back of the neck, and pick your head, your neck, your chest all the way back up again. And again, taking it to level, reach length into the spine first, and then wrap up and around the edge of that roller. And with length at the back of the neck, pick your head, your neck, your chest back up. Now we'll do one more, and I want you to remember it is your low back that finds that this movement is easiest to go into extension. So try and keep the tail beautifully long and lengthened, and think about that middle upper back being where the extension, the shortening comes. A little bit of length at the back of the neck, and lift the head, neck and chest all the way back. Now this is very much an option, this last bit. This is far more advanced, so please do not do this if it is not comfortable. I am going to release my hands, take my arms out, so that I now have almost like a capital E with my arms. And then I'm going to take the hands back behind the middle skull, lift the head, neck and chest up, eyes look straight ahead again. And then from there I'm going to add a little bit more to this. So I'm going to reach both of my legs out nice and long and lengthened, gluing them together, coming across to the side, opposite hip very heavy, come up and around, circling, passing through the middle of the skull, then to the outside edge of your new shoulder blade, around and back through center. To the other side, so a little bit of lateral flexion there again, coming up and over, really trying to get that release in the middle upper back, a circular fashion, coming across, up and over, around, circling around all the way back, and back to center. We'll do one more, across to the side. My opposite hip is very heavy, keep the legs glued together, coming up to come all the way around, 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 all the way back, and pause. Just make sure that that roller hasn't moved as we now come back one last time. Come all the way up and over. Really feel that lovely length through your tail, bottom ribs are down, length at the back of the neck, and pick your head, your neck, your chest all the way up. You can bring your arms forwards, lift up to come over, and take a little stretch forwards. Now if it feels okay to you, you can take your hands towards your toes, wrapping your fingers all the way around your feet, your ankles, your calves, whatever feels good to you. Let your head drop down. I'm pushing my heels away from me, and in opposition I'm sending my seat bones away from my heels. So seat bones go this way and heels are going this way. Just do what feels nice to you. Can you breathe? Can you take your time? Can you draw the little toes towards you a little more? And slowly restack your low back, your middle back, your upper back, and your eyes. Now from there, if you have a roller, you can just repeat if you don't have a roller, so you could repeat doing some of the back extensions. But if you have got a roller, we're going to do a little bit of back massage. So, elbows a little bit closer towards each other. That exposes our middle back muscles more. The roller is again about the base of shoulder blades, there or thereabouts. I'm going to draw my hip bones lightly backwards, lift the hips up and pull the roller up towards the nape of the neck. Pulling it now down towards about the base of the shoulder blades, there or thereabouts, and drawing it all the way back up again towards the nape of the neck. Now this really is just going to be very personal. If you feel that there are tender spots, if you come too high, please just work within a range that suits you. So I'm just moving up and down the center of the spine right now. Remember those elbows drawn closely in towards each other. Now I'm going to tip a little across to maybe just visualize a couple of grams of weight a little across to one side. So we're going up and down the outside edge of the spine now. Coming up as far as you feel comfortable. You might feel in between the shoulder blades and the spine there's a little bit of tension. You could always hold on that area and almost work a little massage effect into it. Whatever you do on the left or the right, you obviously want to do on the other side. So make sure you don't tip too far. Keep those elbows, remember, close together. Your hips are high. I'm trying to keep my legs working pretty much as a pair. And I'm breathing throughout. Really, really important. Really important to help you enjoy this a little bit more. And down to come all the way back up. Then we'll bring it back through the center. Find about the base of your shoulder blades, bringing your bottom down, and take a little moment. I'm now going to come on to the side. Now obviously I appreciate this is difficult to find a prop that is as good as a roller, but still you might use a rolled up mat. Remember we filled it with a towel to make it a little bit more chunky. This might have a good alternative, or might be a good alternative for you. So from here, if you've got the roller or you've got your rolled up mat, you're going to position now this just beneath the armpit. So you could maybe find the armpit first and then just bring it a little further down. And then from there, I'm stacking my knees, trying to keep them always in good alignment, feet as well. I'm not too bent at the knee. I'm going to have the hands just a little wider now to clasp the head. And then from there, with my underside elbow on the mat, I'm going to bring my top elbow all the way down to touch the roller. Then I'm going to lift the top elbow up. I think middle back rotation. I'm not shifting my hips as I rotate the middle back, keeping a lovely long neck. And then I find the elbow onto the mat again and we bring it down. So I'm keeping the eyes up, keeping the chin away from the chest. Keep that lovely length in your spine, reach your sacrum away from you. Elbow down and all the way back. And again, we'll do one more of these. Coming up to come over, really focusing on the length of the spine, massaging and bringing it down. Now if you want a little bit more, feet flatten, hips lift, and we're going to massage that area nice and firmly. Be careful that you are not holding any tension at all in your neck. So just massage and massage. So trying to move it around just a little bit. I know it's quite tender, but it's very good for you. And pause, bottom comes down, center, allow yourself maybe to just use your hands to push yourself up. And we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So stack your knees, stack your feet, elbow. Remember you can always go to the armpit first and then reposition that roller a little further down. Your left will always be different to your right. So, clasping those hands, remember they're not fully engaged, maybe just a little wider. Make sure that they are supporting the head, and we're going to take that top elbow down, lifting it up, and then I think spine twist. I think a middle back rotation to come up, to come over. And again, bringing it down, lifting the elbow up, rotating, trying to allow yourself to look up almost towards the ceiling, all the way down. We're just doing one more, up to come over, over, over. Really keep breathing throughout, and all the way back down. So if you want to make it a little more challenging, I find the feet flat. I'm onto one bottom cheek, not lying flat on the whole of the back. I lift the hips and then I massage. So my legs are very influential here in the movement, the assisting that roller to move backwards and forwards. Remember, you can shift the weight a little bit more, just play about with it, see how it feels to you. And then you can pause, the bottom comes down. Be very careful with your transitions as you bring it all the way back up. Perfect. So we'll give the upper body a little bit of a break for now. Take both hands just for a moment, clasp the hands together and pull the arms back. Be really gentle when you do that. And then let it come down. Just circle your shoulders a couple of times backwards. And now from here we're going to go back into a bit of legs. We've done these an awful lot in the classes, probably in some of the videos as well. It's really nice to get your hip opening and your hamstrings stretching. So from here, roller is optional. You can do this on the floor. You can ditch the roller. If you don't have a roller, you don't need a roller. But if you have got a roller, you might want to use it. I've got one knee on, other foot forwards. And we're going to come down into a little hip flexor stretch. So this time I'm trying to stretch this back hip flexor. Lift the heart up. Hands can be onto the thigh just to make life a little bit more stable. You can always do this down here for an easier or more stable position. To make it more challenging, we can hover, so we come off that back knee. More challenging still would be to lift the same arm as you have, back leg reached out, okay? So from here, more challenging still would be to come up, to come over. So I'm now feeling that left hip flexor stretch even more. Even greater challenge, hold the wrist and take that stretch. Stretching out that hip, I can really feel the front of my hip. Bringing it all the way back, hands come down, and from there we can pause. Now if you'd like a little bit of a front of the leg and toes and you have a roller, you can just stretch into this hip flexor, put it in, and I'm pushing my toes down into the roller there, massaging through the front of the shin, really pulling those toes down and massage through that shin. One more, in, really feel those toes flattening and massage. Now from there, I'm going to make sure that that roller is still underneath my knee as I simply bring my hands back a little, pushing the bottom out, lifting the toes, so pull those toes towards you, push your breastbone, lovely, long and lengthened, so you're doing the worm, remember, and again I'm thinking about the length between my heel and my seat bone. So trying to flatten my back as best I can. I can really feel that down my hamstring. And then from there, I'm going to bring that forwards, bring the roller, and then we'll go exactly to the other side, exactly the same. So from here, we come into your hip flexor stretch again, holding and breathing. Now remember, a little bit more challenging is to come up to here. Be careful of your low back. Some low backs won't like that pressure, so you might want to keep your body pitched forwards that little. little bit. Remember, you do not need to have the roller here at all. And then from there we can make it more challenging if you wish by hovering that back knee. Try and keep your feet as straight as possible. Then we'll bring this arm up, that is the same side as you are stretching the hip, and you're going to come up and over. It's a balance challenge, only if you wish. You're going to hold that wrist and take a little pull. Breathe all the time. Feel all those little intrinsic muscles in your feet working to balance. Then you're going to bring it all the way up, taking it all the way down. Find that roller if you're using it. And then slowly from there, we're going to allow just that roller to pull all the way up. Feel that stretch and push it all the way out again. Pull it all the way up. I'm really pushing my toes down into the roller and reach it out. Up the shin and all the way back. We'll do one more. All the way in and pushing it all the way back. Now you need to find that knee nicely onto the roller again. Then I straighten out the front leg. I'm going to lift, hold. Remember the hands come back a little bit. Now push the breastbone forwards. Really feel that lovely length through your stretching side, which is from your heel all the way to your seat bone. Pushing the big toe away from you, little toe towards you. Pushing the breastbone along an imaginary glass table. And then slowly from there, bringing it back. I'm going to pull the roller all the way up. Bring each foot so it's nice and level and just hang here. Slowly restep, low back, middle back, upper back and eyes. So from there we might want to just do a few roll downs. So just create that length at the back of the neck, rolling all the way down. Just see how the body is feeling and slowly restep. Low back, middle back, upper back, eyes. Lift your heart, push the hands away and just one more. Rolling it down and down and down and down. Really feel that lovely weight. Maybe giving you a different angle. So again, I'm not letting my bottom push backwards. And slowly restack upon very even feet. The low back, the middle back, the upper back, and the eyes. And you can lift those arms up again and just push all the way away and all the way back down. So now we're going to go into the front of the leg. So if you have a roller, again, this is really nice to work the front of the legs. If you haven't got a roller, then you could maybe try and use a tightly rolled mat. If that doesn't work, then just do a little bit of hamstring stretching until you can come back into playing with a piece of equipment that you maybe have got. So we're going to take the roller, position it beneath the pubic bone. I've taken my arms really quite far forwards and I'm going to roll it up towards the knee and all the way back down again, or maybe that is down towards the knee and up towards the pubic bone. Now notice how the neck is long all the time. Keep the bottom ribs drawn in and just breathe and enjoy. Keep the collarbones open. And then if you can, you're going to tip a little to one side. And I want you just to massage the inside edge of one and the outside edge of the other. Just massaging and massaging. And then we'll go to the other side. I'm going to make that a little bit straighter. And so again, we'll go to the other side. So we massage and massage. So really feeling that you are working both sides evenly. Try not to take this in your neck at all. And again, just one last set on this other side. And then slowly from there, finish with the roller towards the pubic bone. Bring yourself all the way back up. And I'm going to pop the roller out of the way. So we'll bring it all the way down onto our tummies. We'll take a little quad stretch.
which we've done so many times, bending the knee, holding the toes, reaching the thigh bone, pulling that heel in towards you, and just breathe here. So really feel the front of that hip opening. If you can, and you have a good healthy knee, pull the heel a little more in towards the bottom, lengthen that thigh bone away and lift it up a touch. Holding and breathing. So just be careful that the front of your hip doesn't end up lifting and hiking off the mat. Options there are to just lengthen that thigh bone away from you. So if you've got a bad knee, then just lengthening like so will get that bottom working and opening your hip. And again, we're going to bend. We're going to hold the other toes this time if you can, pushing length into that thigh bone, holding and breathing. So important that you're breathing all the time. Push the length. Now, if the knee is healthy, you can pull that heel a little more in towards you. And you're going to lengthen and lift a little more up. Really feeling that lovely stretch. Holding and breathing. And then allow that to come all the way back down. So we're going to stretch the back effectively in a little swan position. So we're going to have the hands, nails around about level with the hairline. Collarbones are nicely open, the thigh bones are beautifully lengthened, and bring with flow the back of the head up, shortening the middle upper back, pubic bone is weighted, bottom ribs pulled gently in. And as I say, I just want you to see this as a nice, kind, almost like a stretch for yourself. Lifting it up and up and up. Really feel that you're being lifted up through the soft palate and the roof of the mouth. Bend your elbows, bringing it all the way back down, and we'll just do one more. So think of all that extension work that you did around the roller. Really feel those hips open, the middle back is working, the bottom ribs are in, and let everything come all the way back down again. Hands to armpits, pushing all the way up. Just bringing your knees underneath you. Curl the tail, bottom ribs, middle ribs, upper ribs. Stretch the back out. If your back was a mountain, the base of your shoulder blades would be the highest point. Really lengthen that tail. And then push your head and tail away from each other. A little circumduction of the spine. Around and around. We've done the cue so many times. Imagine that you were a dog wagging his tail to the side, then the cat stretch, then wag the tail, then the Blackpool donkey, and then we go the other way. Around and around and around. Pause there, maybe take hands to one side and pull up and over with your opposite seat bone, up and over your opposite heel, dropping your armpit down towards the mat. And then bringing it around to the other side, coming up and over that seat bone. So it's heel, you're trying to come up and over the heel with that seat bone, and feeling that lovely stretch in your armpit at the same time. Then bringing it all the way back through centre and slowly restack low back, middle back, upper back and eyes. So from here we're going to take the roller again. We'll see if we can get a little bit of an inner thigh stretch with the roller. And we're also going to work with our band. So if you've got a band, we'll use a band. If you haven't got a band, we're going to use the towel. So I'm going to rest my legs onto the roller. Now you don't have to use the roller at this point. It's entirely up to you. And remember, you can always put a block or a towel underneath your middle skull. And from there, I'm going to demonstrate without the flex band first of all. And again, you don't need to have, as I say, your feet onto the roller. So I'm going to put the towel around the widest part of my foot, and I'm going to hold. So pulling in, this is probably a more intense stretch than you would be able to get with a flex band, just because it doesn't have the elasticity to it.
So I'm reaching out the other leg, reaching it on the roller, really just to give you that awareness that you have another leg to think about as well. Collarbones are beautifully open. And my main concern is that my sacrum remains level, the bottom ribs are in. So I'm trying to almost push my sacrum a little away from me. Imagining there's a little egg, a bowl, an ice cube, a pin under the low back. Dropping the toes down towards me, the heel up towards the ceiling, really feeling that lovely stretch. Collarbones are obviously open. Now you can bend a little, you can stretch a little, you can bend a little, you can stretch. It's up to you. I just want you to feel that hamstring. Then we'll add a little bit of outer hip stretch by taking the towel or the band into the opposite hand to that you are stretching the leg. And you're going to slowly draw this leg across the body. Now really feeling that lovely stretch in your hip. Reach your tail away from you. You can roll the eyes towards the outstretched arm if you wish. And then bringing it all the way back through center. And from there, we're going to go the other side. So arm out to the side and draw it across. Feeling that lovely stretch. I like to put my elbow onto the floor just to give me a little bit of stability here. It does help with stabilizing your opposite, almost non-working side. And then we bring it all the way back and take a little bend to release. Now from there, I'll demonstrate on the other side using the flex band. You can just use your towel if that's all that you have. Popping that band around the widest part of the feet, foot, or your towel. And then from here, you're going to take your elbows down if you can. Maybe you've got a towel that's a little shorter, so you're not able to do that. And you're going to drop the toes down and push your heel up. And just breathe. Remember your outstretched leg. It can be on a roller, it doesn't have to be on a roller. Very aware that that leg, either which way, is beautifully long and lengthened. Now toes down, heel up. We can make this a little more challenging by taking a little bend and pushing up. So my focus is the length between my heel and my seat bone. Really feeling that lovely, lovely length. Again, pushing up, 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 up. And one more, reaching it up. Then we'll go into our little hip stretch. We're going to take our band as high up as we can into the opposite hand, other arm out to the side, and pushing the big toe away from me, the little toe towards me as we come across the body. Now you can play about with this by lowering and reaching a little away from you, or you can bring it up. Whatever feels most beneficial to you. You can roll the eyes so that they look towards the outstretched hand. And then bringing it all the way back, simply switch to the other hand, arm out to the side. And remember, if it feels more stabilizing for you, you can have your elbow bent and onto the floor. Be careful that you're not hiking that hip on your stretching side. And then slowly from there, all the way back up and taking that band. Now you might want to take the band into both hands, reach it up and just take a little stretch here. Both legs, reach them up towards the ceiling and bringing it down, and one more, reach them up towards the ceiling. And as you bring it in, just release and goes to the side. And you can take your hands onto your thigh bones and now just massage your hips. So I want you to imagine as you're doing this, that your hands, your arms are moving your legs. It's almost as though your legs are totally and utterly redundant. They're only moving because your arms are making them move. And then we're going to go the other way. So we push the thigh bone away, we circle around, and again push away and circle and push them away. So remember that In many ways, it's your thigh bone, the top of your thigh bone here, that's almost massaging your low back. So this should be a really nice exercise. And then we're just going to hold it here for a second. Take a moment to do absolutely nothing. Just breathe. Just feel your body almost melt a little into the mat. Let your collarbones feel open. Let your eyelids feel really heavy, and breathe into the back and the base of your lungs. And then slowly from there, we're going to reach the legs out long and lengthened. Now, you may have a roller there. If you haven't got a roller, it doesn't matter. You don't need to do this, which is our little roll-up, just to get the spine moving. If you can, then you're going to bring your arms up. A little modified roll-up would be to put the hands underneath that waist, lift the head, neck and chest as you inhale, glue the legs together, push a little in towards your mat with your hands, and bring your hands a little forwards. Now from here we bring it all the way back down again. You can use your hands for support. So I'm going to demonstrate again the little supportive, pushing up with those hands, reaching a little forwards. Now remember, you might want to come down with hands, reaching it away. You might want to do the full roll up, the inhale, the exhale, the stretch forwards. So we're just trying to articulate, almost massage the back a little here. Up to come over, stretch. And we'll just do one more. Up and down. And again, bringing it up, lifting, up and over. Now you can flex deeply through your ankles. You could hold those toes, wrap the feet around, push the heels away from you. Bring it in a little and push them away from you. Just let your head feel heavy. You hold whatever works best for you. And really imagine that you're lifting your waist up and out of your pelvis as you just allow this stretch to just happen. And then slowly release that, the low back, the middle back, the upper back, the eyes. Now you can kick that roller in towards you. Again, this is one that could be done on the mat without a roller, but I'm going to lift the hips up. You could do it on your rolled up mat. Obviously you're not going to have such a wide base. And then slowly from there I'm going to lift one leg, lift the other leg. And I want you to see if you can come into a figure 4 position. If you can't, don't worry, just leave the legs as they are in 90-90. But if you can, a little figure 4. I'm not letting that support knee come in too close, as I gently roll away from the direction of my bent knee. So if I am currently stretching out my right side, I'm rolling to my left, coming across to this side and all the way back. We'll do 2 more of these. A little piriformis stretch. Keep the tail super long. And we'll just do 1 more. Keep the length in your spine to the side and back. And then we'll release that side and we'll go to the other side. So remember, that position of your sacrum on the roller should be very comfortable. You shouldn't feel like your back is wanting to dip into the floor. You shouldn't feel like your back is massively arched. Again, we come across to the side. The further you come, probably the tighter you'll feel that that becomes in that piriformis or bottom region. And again, across to the side, little stretch, and bringing it back. And again, across to the side, and bringing it back. We'll just do 1 more, cross to the side, all the way back. And then we can unravel the legs, bring them back to 90-90. Make sure that you're not allowing your
pelvis to roll too far forwards as we just reach those legs up for a moment. Take them out to the side. Take your hands onto your inner thighs and take a lovely stretch. I've got a little tiny bend in the knees as I now flex deeply through my ankles. Constantly trying not to let my back massively flatten. Bottom ribs are in. Now as I exhale, I'm going to push more length into those legs. So reach out away from you with your heels. And again, a little bend and stretch out. Keep those collarbones beautifully open. Keep breathing. One more. With every reach out, I'm trying to pull a little bit more down into the thigh bone, just to intensify that inner thigh stretch. The hands can come all the way back down, bringing it all the way back. And we're just going to work the feet for a moment, pointing and flexing and pointing and flexing. Feet are so important. We always tend to just forget about them. Pointing and flexing and pointing and flexing. Every ligament, tendon, bone, joint, everything that you can think about in your feet working right now. Glue those calves, those knees, those inner thighs together. Pointing and flexing and pointing and flexing. Now pause, part the legs a little, and we're going to circle the ankles. Thigh bones may even want to circle a little in their sockets. Circle around, circle and circle. And now we'll go the other way. Circle and circle, circle and circle. Really get those ankles working, those feet, those hips. Circle and circle. We'll do two more, one more pause, and then just shake out your legs, shaking them out. Shake it out and pause and bring it in and give yourself a little hug for a moment. Again, just take these moments to let your body just almost melt into the floor. Relax something, be it the collarbones, the eyeballs, the hairline, the cheekbones, the rib cage. What could you relax so that it's not quite so tense? And then slowly you could take those legs back up, maybe a little roll to one side, a little roll to the other. Just massaging that sacral region. Again, getting our low back rotators, just doing a little bit of work. If you've been very static at a desk or hunched over in the garden weeding, just nice to get the back to go slightly different ways. And then slowly from there, pause, bring it in, slide that roller away from you, pushing your legs out nice and long. And if you've got the roller there, could we massage the calves? So I've taken it up towards the fatty part of the calf, the thickest part of the calf. You can go the same way, you can go different ways. It's up to you. Just give them a nice little massage, backwards and forwards. And then we can move it down a little bit, so it's about middle calf. And again, just a little backwards, a little forwards, side to side, just however you're interpreting it. And then you can go a little further down still, so that we're really where the calf tends to blend down in towards the Achilles tendon. Just really getting a good bit of weight into that area as you massage. And then pause, bring those legs together, a roll up if it feels okay to you, coming all the way up and over. And again, take a little stretch. Reach those heels away from you. Really feel that lovely stretch. All the way back up, low back, upper back, eyes. Another little quad stretch, if you can. You're going to sit like so, hand to hand, behind you. Draw your hip bones lightly backwards and lift your hips up.
feeling that you're pulling your hip bones a little backwards, and I'm going to squeeze the bottom cheek on the side that I'm stretching. So for me that's the left, squeezing that bottom cheek, lowering it back down a little, and just one more. So we slowly elevate a little as though I were going into a little, almost like a bridge position, squeezing the bottom cheek, really feeling that the front of that quad is getting a nice stretch, and letting it come down, bringing the foot into the center to switch to the other side. So from here, we have the other foot. I'll maybe angle this a little more so that you can see it. So from here, hip bones pull backwards. Try and keep your collarbones nicely open. Starting to elevate a little. Elevating, holding, squeezing that bottom cheek. Squeeze. And lower. And again, draw the hips lightly backwards. Allow yourself to lift, lifting that pelvis. Keep breathing, stay very open through the front of the chest, squeezing the bottom cheek. So this is a brilliant one to stretch out the rectus femoris muscle. So if you've been sitting a lot, that gets incredibly contracted and shortened. So really good to get that stretching out. Taking it down, taking a moment. So just before we move on to roller work, a little stretch for your hands. So I want you to take your arms out to the side. You could have the palms facing up. And you're just going to bring little pinky finger, then the fourth, third, first, and bringing the thumb in, pull it right in. Now one at a time, take them all the way out and push imaginary webs out of your hand. And again, all the way in. Pull in, push all the way out, one finger at a time and push out. One more, one at a time, pull in, and I'm pulling the knuckles in, and then one at a time all the way back up and out. Other side, in 2, 3, 4, 5, pull those knuckles in, reach 2, 3, 4, 5, out, push away. And again in 2, 3, 4, 5, in, push all the way back out. And one more, in 2, 3, 4, in, and all the way back out. Now, flamenco wrists. Again, if you've been sitting at a computer and you have been working a mouse all day, you want to really get those wrists working. And we'll go the other way. Think flamenco fingers, flamenco wrists. Around and around and around and around. And we'll go the other way again. Around, around and around and back and back and back and back. Now from there you can take one and you're going to push through the heel of the hand. So I'm pulling those 4 fingers back, taking a lovely stretch through this area of the wrist. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Just make it gentle. Remember, if you're not used to stretching these areas, then please make it very, very gentle. Relax something, collarbones, shoulder blades, stretching, and we'll do one more each side, reaching it out, and back, and reaching it out, and bringing it all the way back. So you can just shake out your hands, shake out your legs, bringing your hands all the way up, reach them out to the side. And again, push all the way up. Open, 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 open. One more. Push all the way up. Open, 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 open. And take a breath. And I'll be back in a few minutes with some roller relaxation. So, we're back with a little bit of stretching on the roller. So I want you to position your roller nice and centered down the center of the mat, obviously. And you're going to come to the very, very end. Try and have your seat bones perched at the very end of the roller. Hands either side, draw the hip bones lightly backwards, and you're going to come all the way down to the roller. Now take a moment to make sure that your middle skull, your middle shoulder blades, your middle sacrum are absolutely even. Now from there, I want you to
just to think about length. Length in the spine and then breathing. So take a wide full inhale, and as you exhale, really feel how you're almost melting your spine around both sides of the roller. The feet are even. You can feel an evenness left to right. You can feel the same pressure left to right. Big toe, a little tiny bit of inner thigh activation. And you're going to bring both arms all the way up and pause. And I want you simply to take one overhead, one down by your side. Overhead, down by the side. Overhead, down by the side. Overhead, down by your side. Really feel this lovely evenness again, left to right. And then you're going to pause, and both palms are now going to face backwards. And we repeat, back, and back, and back, and back. So you're really trying to flatten that back hand on the mat behind you. Don't forget those inner thighs, sacrum level, bottom ribs are in, and pause. And then I want you to take your arms out to this side, a lovely T position. And you're going to bring them all the way back, and again out to the side, and all the way back, out to the side, all the way back, and out to the side, and all the way back. Now have your little pinky fingers touching, out to the side, all the way back. We're doing 4 of these, and back, out to the side, and back, and out to the side, and back. Now spin it around so we have the back of the hands touching, and we come down and back up, and down and back up, down, back up. Last one, down and back up. Now spin it around again so the palms are facing. We're going to take them all the way out there, hovering at roller height. And then now I want you just to tip your fingertips down towards the floor as though you're a Spider-Man pushing webs out of his wrists. So just push, 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 push. And then bring them level, make 2 fists, and just roll a little inwardly, those knuckles, those fists. And again, repeat, reaching out, bring the fingertips down towards the floor. Really feel your collarbones beautifully open, and then make the 2 fists and roll them up towards the ceiling again. So really feeling that you're almost being pulled by both of the humerus bones outwardly out to the side. And then bring them back beautifully to level. Just flamenco fingers, a couple one way and a couple the other way. And then all the way back up, palms face away from you. Take your arms all the way back behind you, all the way around, 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 around. Arms down by your sides, and then all the way up and over. So snow angels all the way down and all the way back up. Do your arms work as an even pair, all the way back up. Now if you can, try and bend the elbows a little as you come down, which will give you a deeper stretch across the front of the chest. One more, all the way down, 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 down. And this time, as you come up and over, pause with those hands directly above your shoulders again. And you're going to bend a little at the elbows and bring your elbows down towards the floor as best you can. And just relax something. So really making sure that you can still feel very gently the T12 lightly kissing the roller and a nice level sacrum. Now if you can, you'll take your upper arm as far back as you can manage. And just breathe and allow that chest to open up. And again, bringing it all the way down as though you're working through 180 degrees and all the way back again. You're working within a range that is good for you. If it's really hard for you to come down towards the floor, you could always put a couple of books that are of even height underneath your elbows. just as you work on increasing this range across the chest. We'll just do one more. Down, 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 and all the way back. And on this next one, we'll bring them all the way down and just reach them all the way down by your sides. Then we lift them up, we cross them over each other as though we were taking an imaginary jersey off. Hang out with those arms in almost a framing position of the head and reach all the way out to the side and down. And again, crossing over, bringing it up and over and reaching it all the way back. And maybe crossing a different hand over each time. Hold, reach them all the way out and down by your side. Now we're going to do 3 go the other way. Up and over, cross the wrists, squish the face, hug the body and relax down. And again, all the way up and over, crossing, squish and down. Again, perhaps crossing a different one over each time, hug the body down. And we'll just do one more, up and over, squish and all the way back down. Now if you are on a roller, of course you can always do this whole routine lying on your back without a roller. You can just take a little massage left to right of your spine, just using that roller, just a little left, a little right. Watch out for hair that it doesn't get trapped. Just massage and massage and massage and massage. So I've widened the feet a little to give me a bigger base of support to the side and to the side. And then slowly from there, you can just gently slide off if you're on the roller and pause. Last little thing, I'm going to take the roller to the nape of the neck. If you've got a big chunky mat, just make sure that the roller is maybe off the end. You don't want it to be too high. Or certainly just make sure that you feel comfortable. So you can position the roller in the nape of the neck just until you really do feel that it's nice and comfortable. You might want to take the hands either sides. You might want to have your hands by your side. And from there, relax, breathe. Try and find a neutral position if you can with your spine. And then you're going to roll gently your head to one side. And then gently bring it back through center and to the other side. And again, back through center. Does it feel the same left to right? Try not to necessarily apply extra pressure. Just let the pressure of your own head be enough into the roller. And on this next one, we're going to come to one side, maybe just a little behind that bony protrusion behind the ear. And we're going to do little tiny circles, the size of a golf ball. Circling, imagine that your nose was the guide here. It's the nose that's really helping you to gauge the size of the circles. And then we go the other way. Circle, and circle, and circle. And we'll bring it all the way back through the center, and we roll to the other side. And again, just circling and circling. So try and use your nose as the gauge. Just really feel how easy it is to move with ease and simplicity the head around on these little points. So we'll go the other way. Circle and circle. Does one side feel tighter than the other? Circle. Then bringing it all the way back through center. And again, you could just do a few little circles in the central part of the neck. And reverse and go the other way. If it doesn't feel good, please don't do it. Maybe you're happy to just lie here
to just roll again a little from one side to the other side. Maybe that is your happy place. Maybe the circling doesn't feel so good. We're all very different, and so make sure that it works for you. And then you're going to pause, and you're going to reach your legs out, and you're going to bring the chin a little towards the chest, and you're going to pull the roller away, and just rest your head, and just lie with your palms facing up. Your legs are a little apart from each other, and just pause for a moment, letting your entire body melt into the mat. Let your fingers curl. Let your breath feel heavy. Let your bones feel heavy. Imagine that you could think from the tip of your toes through your toe joints that you were very relaxed, and moving up through every joint in the body. Every joint is so relaxed. So your knees are relaxed. Your ankles are relaxed. Your hips are relaxed. The pelvis feels relaxed. Every rib is soft. The armpits are relaxed. The shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, every joint in your fingers. Your neck, your jaw, your eyelids are heavy. And take one more big inhale. And as you exhale, very slowly bring a little bit more activity into the limbs by bringing one leg in towards you, the other leg in towards you. Take a little hug in. Maybe some thigh bone circles one way, the other way. However works best for you, I'd like you to bring it up to the upright. And slowly, maybe that's knees to one side. And take a breath. And I just want to thank you again for sparing the time to do this. Remember, it's very much a relaxation, a release video. Do what you can if you haven't got props. Maybe you'd like to purchase a roller. It's a really worthy investment. If you are getting one on Amazon, for example, 90 centimetres long. I think they're about 15 centimetres in diameter. And yes, I just want to thank you again. Keep your comments coming in, and another video will be with you really soon. Take care. Lots of love.